generator?
Yep. So, great answers. This is a steam-powered generator. The way that it works is typically you would have a fire going. This tank would have water in it that would create the steam. That steam would run through these pipes and build so much pressure that this piston would move up and down. This wheel would turn. That would make this belt turn. In 1887, this generator would come to life.
So much spiders hopping on top of me. Whoa.
So the first low spot is right here, so please watch your heads. And the second area is a little bit lower, so please watch your heads.
Woo! It's so
So welcome everybody to the twilight zone. This is called the twilight zone because this is the last place in the cave that you would be able to see any outside light come through. If any animals were to come in here, this is as far as they would go because they know that there's no food source any further. This is that in-between place where the light meets the dark. We came through as to what's referred to as the light zone or the entry zone. This again is the twilight zone, and if all the lights were off back there, you would be able to tell why it's called the dark zone. All right, so in the 1930s, the owners of Fantastic Caverns, they would give 2 tours a day to earn money. But they also had about 6 or 7 of these garden beds throughout the cave. This is the last remaining one. Who can tell me what you can grow inside of a cave? So when it rains, that rain will travel through the ground and pick up minerals along the way. The one that is needed to create formations is called calcite. So when that rainwater containing that calcite saturates this limestone ceiling, it then begins to drip that rainwater. Now, depending on what way that water drips is going to determine what type of formation that it creates. So the first one we're going to take a look at is called a stalactite. You can remember that by saying that that stalactite hangs tight to the ceiling.
It's really dark over
If you look at the very bottom of that, it is dripping and is dripped to the ground and has now formed a stalagmite. And you Alright, so there are two places in the world where you can experience complete blackout darkness. The cave is one of those places, and the other is the bottom of the ocean. We're sitting on we are directly on an ocean bed. So it kind of makes sense, they're both in the same. So if you guys don't mind turning the lights off to our devices, we're going to experience Alright, so over here on my right hand side are the names of those women explorers. February 27th, 1867.
Watch your head.
And if you're on my right hand side, please watch your head as we pass by this rock.
Watch your head, buddy.
Well, the reason for that is because the American Civil War was happening. There's many reasons why either party fighting in that war would use a cave and did use caves. They're warm in the winter, cool in the summer. There's plenty of room for storage. Can you imagine the amount of soldiers you could fit in here plus some? If nobody knows about it, then it makes them a really great hideout. But they would mine caves that had high populations of bats. There's some kind of chemical reaction that happens when bat guano hits the minerals in the cave dirt. And everybody know what bat guano is. So, the way the process kind of worked is they would fill up a hopper like this with that cave dirt containing the bat guano. They would add a little bit of water and mix it together. But they wouldn't add a lot of water because when they mixed it, they wanted it to be a very thick sludge that came out. They would then take that sludge and they would fill up a pot just like this. And they would take that pot outside of the cave and they would boil it. Well, they would boil it until there was nothing left but a crystal-like substance that would appear around the sides and at the bottom of the pot. They would take that substance called saltpeter. They would scrape it out of the pot. They would crush it up, and they would add two other ingredients to it. They would add sulfur, and they could use either potash or they could use charcoal. Those three ingredients combined together make squats. Yep. Dumbfounded. Who knew that bat poo was so explosive? There's a cave in Virginia that they had 200 of these hoppers. Surface, this is what we would call a sinkhole. For those of you that can see at the bottom of that sinkhole, that is a tiny, tiny peak at the lower level of Fantastic Caverns. Fantastic Caverns is made up of 2 levels and around a total of 4 miles, 3 of which are down below. The majority of the lower level consists of about 18 inches in height, which means you have to belly crawl through it. There are only a couple open areas of that lower level, one of which we will see at the next stop.
Look, it's glowing. Rocks are glowing.
If you're on the passenger side, feel free to stand up and look over. So other than this sinkhole, or this open area of the lower level. There's another one outside of the cave about a mile from the spring. As you can tell, this creek bed is dry. Well, during the hot summer months, the rain that we do get typically gets soaked up by the dry ground long before it ever gets this far into the cave. However, throughout the 3 miles down below, there are permanent pools of water for which the cave life that do live where they can survive. So we have an Ozark cave fish. They're about the size of a little goldfish. They are a pinkish white color, or so they appear. If you were to take a flashlight and shine it through their body, they are so transparent that not only can you see their hearts beating, but you can see their lungs functioning as well. They are blind. We have a transparent blind crayfish, also known as the crawdad. They are very tiny as well, about the size of a cricket.
It looks like
Bet they fell down a lot.
Right. Everybody good? All right. This rock here is our famous Ozarks noggin knocker, so please watch your noggins. It gets low, guys. Watch your heads.
I need to get done. Watch your head. Watch your head. Watch your head. Watch your head.
Alright, so the reason that this room is called the breakdown is because everything that we see through here was once attached to the ceiling. So many years ago, and I'm going to say if we base the growth of these on that 1 cubic inch every 100 years, none of these stalactites were here, including this large one and the one behind it. This stalagmite didn't exist. Neither did this stalagmite nor these. I'll show you guys this because I like sparkly shiny.
Hey, look, it's shiny. Look, it's shiny.
It kind of spreads out through it. So believe it or not, when it gets wet, the wetter it gets, the less sparkly it gets. Alright, so we're going to head to a room that is referred, we call it the Hall of Giants. There's a few reasons why we call it that. You guys will soon find out why. I'm going to turn the lights out one more time. And the reason for that is because I'm going to show you this super cool invention that those lady explorers brought with them to use to light up the cave so they could see where they were going and what they were looking at. So we're going to go ahead and head on up. Starts getting low right about here. And everybody, there is Mother Willow. And the spiral staircase is here. this is our migraine headache, guys. Please don't take it home with you today.
Sit down, sit down. Watch your head, buddy. I got you,
All right. So I know we got group down there, but for those of you that can't see, I don't know if everybody can tell me. A starfish fossil. You guys see it?
Yeah.
It's a starfish fossil. Coming up, guys. Can you guys see it back there at all? You two can't. When I pull up and I come and close the door, I'll have you guys come with me and take a look at it. You guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here we go, guys. Watch your heads.
Daylight.
All right, so that original entrance, everybody, is right there.